Okay guys, Ninja Cat here. I'm going to be drawing a female manga eye. So we're gonna see how well I can do this with one hand. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start with the upper eyelid or eyelash line. What do you call that? Yeah, I think it would be like eyelash line or whatever. We're gonna start with, little very curvy line right there, nice arch. Then when you get down to this edge, you're just gonna go down, and you want to be very careful with the angle that you come down right here, because if you do it going too far in, then it's gonna be really weird shape. I find that typically the shorter the eye, the more it will usually go in. But for this eye, it's going to be a nice size. So you want to make sure to just get it as a good angle, probably about that. Okay. Make sure you get. Okay. Next thing I do is I come down here. You're gonna need to tend to leave a gap between the upper lid or the upper lash to the lower lash. Usually just, not too big, but still enough so you can see that. And then you're gonna just go in right here and do the lower lash line. It is not going to be anywhere near as curvy as up here, but it is going to still have a simple curve to it, like that. So you're going to get this nice shape, kind of almost, I find that the best way for eyes, or at least for how I do them, because everyone has their own style, so, is that you want to make sure, for instance, right here, that if you were to draw a line, that they would connect and they won't be like, weird shapes in order to connect them. Same right here, almost like a real eye where you know how it kind of goes in right there and it connects. You kind of want to do that. It's just deformed of a real eye, really. That's how you want to put it. But, okay, so you have your basic shape. Now we're going to put in the pupil part. Actually, it's kind of more the iris or whatever. The eyeball. Yeah, we'll put in the eyeball. Okay, you're going to go down. Make sure to keep a curve, almost like as if you were drawing a ovalish circle. Now, when you get down here, you want it to kind of get close, but not quite touching the lower lash. But you want to get it to kind of go with the curve of the lower lash line. And then go back up. Now, here's where I tend to add my highlight. So instead of continuing that line, I'm going to go in right here and just curve it. Just like as if there's a highlight there. There. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to go right here, about in the center, and just draw in a pupil. I find that for girls, they tend to have bigger pupils when they draw them. For instance, like a guy, you would really only do a smaller one. But for girls, they have a good size pupil. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now, I want to make sure to say this. This is not the only way to draw eyes. There are infinite possibilities. This is just how I draw them. So, okay, now we're gonna, since this is a female eye, we want to definitely put in some eyelashes. Now, I will say that not all of my female characters that I've drawn have eyelashes like this. I tend to go based off of the personality of the character for how I do the eyelashes. This is just going to be, as if you were drawing a really, really basic girl. Okay, so if you notice, we're just kind of carefully darting in these sweeping lines. You want to make sure it tapers out to a point at the end. Now, this part tends to get a slightly tricky for me, where you have it, you're going to have some of them slightly coming up right here, but at the same time, then you have down up here that's going down. You kind of have to have it where it's kind of meeting right there, like that. And then I want to add a couple more up here. So, and now for the lower lash, I'm gonna just dart in a few eyelashes down here. Make sure they have a nice curve to them. I don't tend to do too many eyelashes on the lower lash line, because if I add a bunch, it just looks weird to me. But if you want to, go right ahead. Okay, continuing. Now you're just going to, I want to go back and darken up the lash lines. Because I find for manga girls, they tend to have really, really thick eyelashes, especially on the top. You don't always have them really thick on the bottom, but sometimes you do. Sorry about that. Like going off screen here. Okay. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out is, if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to keep the eyelashes just over here. I don't tend to add any up here, but you can. Like I said, it's all, everyone has their own preference on how to draw eyes. You know, I've seen eyes that have eyelashes going all around. I just don't do that. Okay, now we're going to go back and darken the lower lash line. Now, like I said before, I don't tend to do it, I don't always darken the lower lash line too much. But you do want to get it pretty dark. Like that. Okay, I'm going to kind of go over the outer ring for the eye. Get it nice and dark. Now, yeah. Okay, now for shading. I tend to start with the darkest parts first, because that's just how I shade. So we're going to start with the pupil, and yeah, you're going to shade in, usually bottom top, but I kind of just shade in all around like this. Okay, now that you have the basics of pupil. Now you're going to continue moving up, usually about the same shade. Okay, so now you have that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to kind of go down, and you're kind of going to do this little, I don't know how you put it, like a U-turn, almost like a U-turn. Yeah, I'm using car terms. And then you're going to go down like that. Gonna want to make sure to keep that nice curve in there. You don't want to be like all of a sudden jagged turns. Okay, and then you're gonna want to try to keep it as similar between the, as even as you can between the two sides. Obviously with the highlight there, it's not gonna be completely even, but try to keep it as even as you want, or as you can. Now you're going to go over and you're going to want to add this little, it's going to be a slight ring to the bottom and the shading, like that. Yeah. Now what I do after that, you're going to have this nice U right here. It's going to be the shines and color and whatever. And now you're going to slightly go down and lightly, very lightly, shade that U in. Now, sometimes what I do is I tend to have it slightly darker up here and then fade really light, like that. Now, you can have it all one shade or whatnot. I find it also really depends on that for, you know, how bright the person's eyes are. I mean, if they're going to have really dark eyes, obviously you're not going to have too light of a straight highlight right there. So that is the basic of the eye. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to put the eyelid. Now this really, it can be very tricky. Okay, you see where they have that tip right there? What I tend to do is I tend to go a couple of little spot up there, start the eyelid right there where it would point and attach, and you go up a little, make sure it's slightly, it's not going to be a straight line, it's kind of diagonal line right there, like that. Okay, and then you're going to just go off. You want to sort of follow the shape of the eye, like that. Okay, and now what you're going to do is you're going to see where you have that little point right there. Following this curvy line, you're going to go down and add a slight line coming off of it, like that. Okay, and now just, this is how I do eyebrows. You know, you don't necessarily have to do it like this. I've known styles to have it where they just have like that line. Yeah, just a line. But I tend, even for the girls, to add a little bit right there. Give it some more definition. Once you get a shape that you want, darken the line some. Of course, you're not going to darken them as much if, for instance, your character was blonde. And then do a light shade for that. Okay. And basically that is how you draw a basic female manga eye. Okay. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. By all means, subscribe, comment, whatever. I would love to have people's feedback on whether I should keep up with the videos. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be back with another one soon.